But I want to say about 10xing your handyman business through hiring. It's an easy way to build your handyman business. But here's what happens is there's so many people that they have so much work to do, and they get busy doing the work, and they're doing it and doing it, and they're actually not very profitable because they're just working on in the business instead of on the business. So today I wanted to talk to you about some handyman hacks for hiring that can help it go much more rapidly and have it go very, very easily for you. So hiring a new handyman tech is something that handyman business professionals often postpone as long as possible. It's important to find the right handyman tech to fill the vacancy. The hiring process takes time and effort. And if you're working in the business instead of on the business, it's very difficult to do. There's a big temptation to add somebody who is a warm body at the moment, and it looks like they have the skills to do it, but this is often a mistake. Here's a list of hiring mistakes that handyman professionals make frequently. 1, they have no job description in writing. The handyman is required to do certain pieces of work, but there's no details, and the owner does not see the qualifications that the paid person has or has not got for the job. 2, hiring somebody with no handyman skills. It is clear from the job description what they're supposed to do and what skills are necessary for the job as a handyman, but you must test the candidate to make sure that his or her skills are current. And it's very important to do this. Last week, we had a guy that said, oh, I can do this, I can do this, I can do this. And when he was on the job, he made more of a mess than doing any work. Fire quickly, hire slowly. So that was another lesson learned. Sometimes you pay that stupid tax, right? So test the candidate. Make sure they can use a hammer, a drill, a screwdriver, a saw, a paint roller, a tape measure. It's so important when you're hiring a handyman to get a handyman that actually has skills, because if not, it can bite you in the butt. Hiring somebody without having a behavioral assessment, you can definitely get somebody that is off the rails. Use an assessment to help see if the person can fit into your culture and complement the skills of the handyman that you already have working. You also need to be able to communicate with the person that you hire in a way that they will hear you. Most owners tend to hire people that are like themselves, when in fact they need somebody that's not like them and that they don't necessarily enjoy. 4, hiring somebody with a temperament or a personality that is wrong for the job. I'm in Texas, and if I hire somebody that doesn't want to work outdoors and doesn't like the heat, that's a major problem. Some handyman positions require people who are able to do work outdoors, to be able to lift 50 or more pounds, somebody that is friendly and talkative with the clients, and they enjoy working by themselves. That's so important because we don't have people standing over our handyman. They are usually responsible individuals that have motivation on their own and know how to do the jobs. Knowing the personality type and that temperament is best for particular handyman jobs, and it's up to the owner to find the right person or your hiring manager. Hiring friends or relatives can be a major problem. Even if you favor that someone, if the decision turns out to be a bad one, the situation can get really uncomfortable really quickly. It's hard to give feedback to friends and family members when they are doing a position within your handyman business. They're probably grateful for the opportunity, but they get really cranky with the criticism. And also when you're hiring people, this is a side note on this one, You don't want to hire people, multiple relatives within a family to work for your handyman business. I remember in 2018, we'd hired a man, his significant other, his son, his cousin, his uncle. There was 4 or 5 of them from the family that we hired, a whole gaggle of them. And when we got rid of one of them, they all walked off of the job, which made no sense to me whatsoever, but whatever. You don't want to lose your entire workforce. So we let them all go on one day. And then the next day we had to rehire and train people very, very rapidly. Number 6, not interviewing the candidate. Ask them a set of questions that you stick by all of the time. Spend time in preparing the set of probing questions for the handyman candidates and determine which candidate is more closely to filling what you need in that position. Number 8, not posting the job online. That's where people go nowadays to look for jobs. So you have to be online. Your business needs to be online, number 1. Number 2, you need to post those jobs online. Indeed, ZipRecruiter, Hire a Hand, Handy.com. If you advertise for candidates in multiple ways, you will get a variety of candidates to choose from. There are so many places to choose from online. ZipRecruiter, Facebook, Monster.com. Number 9, not screening the candidates that you interview. Once you have a group of handyman candidates, it's easiest to have screening questions to weed out the ones who are definitely inappropriate. Often screening interviews are done by phone, but they could also be done via email. So our process is we put the job post up, we get the applications, we go through the phone interview process, then we do in-person interviews or on-job interviews, and then we hire slowly and we fire quickly. It's so important to remember that. If you get nothing out of this podcast, it's hire slowly and fire quickly. Thank you, Tony Robbins. Number 10, not checking references or background. It's tempting once you've settled on a candidate to just hire him or her on the spot. But it's worth taking time to check their references and background to be sure the candidate has honestly presented themselves. Last week, we were in a little bit of a bunch and we made the mistake not to check the references. This person had superstars on there as their references and said that they've done jobs at certain places. So we trusted them on their word. Don't deviate from the rules once you know them, because I've made that mistake and my branch manager made that mistake last week. And what happened was a pain in the butt. You don't want a pain in the butt that you have to deal with, a handyman with no skills. You want somebody that you can check their background. If you've been fired from their last 5 jobs, don't hire them. Screen them. Don't just put in a warm body. It's not worth the trouble that you're going to have. Look for people that are honest. If they have a red flag that gets thrown up from their questionnaire or their interviews, don't hire them, no matter how badly you might need someone. It is not worth it. These were the 10 ways to 10x your hiring process and quit making those mistakes in your handyman business. Do you realize you're human? You make mistakes, right? But once you know better, you do better. I'm Christy Ogle with 10X Handyman, and I want to invite you guys to our 10X Handyman Hiring Challenge that begins on May 23rd. It is a free challenge. The 3 secrets that you're going to learn in this is, number 1, that you can learn from others who have done what you want to do. You can model after them and not have to pay this stupid tax. Secret number 2, you don't have to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars or even thousands or hundreds of dollars to get the right handyman in your business. And the third secret is you don't have to wait a year to 10 years to 15 years to be successful. Each handyman that you hire is potentially worth $146,250. When you learn to work on the business instead of in the business swinging the hammer, it could have a major change in the way the game's played in your business. So come over to the 10X Handyman Hiring Challenge that begins on Monday. Go to 10xhandyman.info/challenge, where we're going to help you 10X your handyman business through hiring, working with less customers, fewer hours, and having big pay within your handyman business. Go to the 10xhandyman.info/challenge, where you're going to learn expert methods, expert training, and have expert systems. This is a 3-day free challenge. I only offer free challenges a few times a year, and I've never offered it for hiring before. I can't wait to see you inside the 10X Handyman Hiring Challenge. Go to 10xhandyman.info/challenge to get started and sign up for that challenge that begins on May the 23rd. I am Christy Ogle with the 10X podcast. And thank you for joining us. And I can't wait to see you in the 10X Handyman Hiring Challenge.